G'day mate, I'm going to attempt to show you how I sharpen some chains up in Australia for hardwood, because we don't have the same angles in America, so most of the timber over there is softwood. So at the moment I have the angle this way at 60 degrees. You can see it on the back of the arm, but just here, or there's another place down here, you see. But and the other way here we got 30 degrees on this angle of the cut. So 60 by 30. I think America's got 70 by 35, I think, but don't quote me on that. Now, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm halfway through this chain, so I better film it. I'll just zoom in the thing. That backstop there. Hope I can zoom in that. Tripod in the road and all that. The backstop, just here. Now I TIG weld that on. Whoop. I TIG weld that on. Not a very good TIG welder. Not a very good walker either sometimes. Now I worked out when I was doing the cutting, I couldn't keep the tooth stable where it should be all the times. So as you go up and down, you'll see it jump up and down, and sometimes left. I couldn't work out why. Now I worked out if I got more of a broader bit of metal that made it more upright to support the back of the tooth. Doesn't matter which tooth is, it could be left or right. As soon as you clamp that down, it doesn't want to move at all. So that's why I put a bigger tooth. Because I ground, you see I grind here. I ground that backstop almost all the way. So I put a new piece on. Apart from that's heavier and it goes down behind each tooth. Before it was it stuck, I had to push it down every time. So I fixed that problem. So this chain has been sharpened before on this jig. So that's important. Now, give my light. My torch. Trying to do all this together so you guys can actually see what's going on. So you can see the backstop a bit better there. I'm gonna pull that out so you can have a look. See, it's more wider and square. It's not completely 90 degrees up and down, but might as well stay close to it. So I'll put you back. Right now, I'll do a couple of cuts. Now, I do this for a particular reason. Because I had 6 kids, guys, 6 kids gives you a lot of time to watch YouTube. And I've learned a lot of things over the years. Certain things work, certain things don't. So, this is the reason this. The gullet is, if you look at videos on bandsaws, if you don't have your gullet on the bandsaw dug out heaps, you can't cut wide bits of timber, because the wider you get, less room there is in the gullet to pull the sawdust out of the saw. Now your rake will pull some, but your gullet's got to take some too. So you need to make as much room as possible, and also the more weight you can remove from the chain, but not make the chain weaker, also helps, gives you more power. I done a video where I did a 0.58 chain on a steel versus a 0.63, which is heavier, and there's more power, and you can see more of a rooster tail. So that's why I do that. Now I've got this already dialed. I've done half the chain, doing the right hand side too. So I'll do this, and I'll show you afterwards why. So if you listen to the sound, you'll see that it's a bit different. Very different from me. Earmuffs. Right. I do 1, 2, and I'll swap over. Now this one here, I've had this wired up so I can go backwards or forwards. There's a condenser in this motor, and a pre-cycle and a full main cycle. So when you normally start it up, the pre-cycle spools it up, gives it power to the motor, and then it goes one way, which is anti-clockwise. Now I had that disconnected by a guy who knows how he's doing. So this does not work on every one of these saws. It did work before, but the moment you load it up, it's stopping at and idle, and you spin back the other way. It's meant to spin anti-clockwise. That's the way it's meant to spin normally. But I spin it the other way or whatever. Depends what you'll see next car. So I'm going to go anti-clockwise. I've got to start like that because it's a brushless motor. If I don't do that, it'll burn it out. So I push it on the raker with my finger up against the backstop. So set it, lock it there. That's a handle off of AEG or what do you guys call in America? It's AEG for us here. So it starts with R, but it's a handle off one of the big brushless drills. I re-threaded this metal part here just a bit, and it goes straight on. Before now, there's a ball here, and if you push the ball, after a while it stops the blood flow to your hand, gives you cramps, and it hurts. So I got rid of that. So you got to feed on gently. This is a diamond blade, so it's smooth, doesn't hurt your finger. It doesn't get really hot. The aluminium oxides, I wouldn't use them. I've tried them before. I almost gave up on this, but now I found this thing. It's a heavy duty. It's aluminium, probably about 6 mils wide. It's recessed just there, but it doesn't hurt. Anyway, watch this. So this is just a resharpen. Let me try one. I'm trying to touch the very base of the tooth. I can't see with all these lights. Bloody buttons. Alright, so it's just touching. That's all you want to do now. Polish it up the top of the tooth. So it's just polishing it. That's it. So now I can move on to the next tooth. Now when you do this is semi chisel. When you do full chisel, I've cut myself on the finger there. Yeah. I cut myself on that finger. I cut myself on that hand. I've cut myself on that finger there, on that thumb. Yeah, they get sharp, and that was just moving around this jig here. So they do get super sharp. So I go to the next one like that. I don't normally turn it off. It's set, push your raker up, push your raker down and up against the backstop. Lock it in, done. If it slips, it carries on, which it does do. I've filed this back here just a bit to make it more grippy. If it still plays up, I blow it out, compressed air, brake fluid cleaner, brake cleaner, clean it all out and blow it all out. So it's no fine dust like iron filings and stuff. I got a magnet over here which sucks up some of the metal and stuff. But just set it up and go bang again. So if you felt that, there's just a little bit of touching the next tooth. You just hear it do them, and that's all, a micro touch. So, but I always go there and kiss, maybe 10 times. But that's how I do it. So after you do a lot of chain sharpening, you understand. It's all there. That's super sharp now. That's a cutting point. What I saw a video, that part there. I keep forgetting the video. No, go back here. So that part there is the scraper, the top plate's the scraper, and the point and down is the cutter. So you cut and it scrapes. Your raker does regulates how deep it goes, but you're gonna get that point deadly sharp. So I'll do a few more. I'll start back up again, so you can get the sound what it is. Gotta spin it before I hit the start button. And we'll only do it with a plug-in drill. I don't know how many people have got them left. I was about to throw this drill out, but I needed it. My rechargeable drill did not spin fast enough to start this thing up. So, tap, tap, tap. That's it. Now polish a bit. I'm just polishing the tooth. That part there is going to be nice and sharp. And I can move on to the next one. That's how long each tooth takes. So once you've done the sharpening a few times, it's not hard. But they work as a team. So normally I'm sitting where the camera is, I can see reflection on the actual drive tooth and know how far to go. So it's sharp again. Or you can lean over and watch it. Just polish the top edge of the tooth. Alright, so I'll put you on pause and I'll finish the chain off and I'll go to the right hand, left hand tooth. There it goes. Small shed. Okay, now before I spin around to the other side, I'll show you what I do. This normally occurs when you have to sharpen someone else's chain and they're doing hand sharpening. In hand sharpening, I don't care who you are, you're always stronger on one side of your chain or the other. Depends if you're right hand, left hand. Depends on the saw, high mount, on the Husqvarnas. It could be just you're doing it on stumps or trees. It's just, you can never be exact. That's why I like using these saws, these adjustable jigs. So what I've got here, might bring that back out. So I've got a modified gauge here so I can work out what I want from measurement. So I've cut this out with apparently it was high tensile stainless steel. Feels like it's made tin. Cut out with a hacksaw, and so I've got room that goes in on your teeth. So I'm undo that part there. So we just done the right tooth. Trying to see so make sure you guys can see. So what I do is get my I can't remember what they call them now, digital measuring thing, micrometer. Work out roughly how wide it is. So point to point. I don't want to be too accurate, but I know roughly where I am. Because these things they work as a team. You don't get them as a team, you won't get it to cut straight. And then there's a 42-inch chain, this one. So I need to cut straight. Cameras in the road. I'm getting old, so my eyesight's going. Okay, so 9.07. That's what roughly that is. Now I'm going to go to the left hand side and see what the difference is. Well, it's slightly longer, which is good because I need to bring that back to what the other side is. So if the right side's 9.06, so it should be the left hand side. Because when you do your depth rakers, you want everything to be a match, work as a team, you'll have a nice straight cut. So how much is this normally? So 9.06. So about half mil too big. I might measure a few more. Yep, 9.6. You'd be amazed, guys, when you do it on these drop saw sharpeners, the amount of times I've found the tooth on a brand new, like a virgin sharp, the tooth could be shorter than the next one, or vice versa. It's like they use stones and they wear out and they get shorter and longer. So once you do this, they're going to be the same every time. So we're going to go with 9.06. Okay, so I'm going to have to work out what that is. So I'll put you on pause again, move you. Now people have watched the previous video, I erased it because I wasn't happy with what I did. I've replaced all the plastic knobs, put nuts everywhere, even on the backstop. I put Loctite, nuts, so nothing can vibrate it loose. Even the nut under here, I wasn't happy the way it was locking up. So on 30 degrees, just swap that over. It's not hard to move. I put it back on 30 degrees, lock it back up. Not too tight because it's die cast aluminium. Gotta make sure you don't break it. Now, got my old man chair. An old vinyl chair from years ago out of a shed. Now, with these things, I have yet to find one of these yet that when you can change from one side to another side, this adjustment here is the same. So that's why I measure, because it's just the way they swing. So I'll back off the stopper, so you could probably have a look at that. I made my own stopper there, so I can undo it and get tight again. So once it's a butterfly nut with brazen pipe, so once you get where you want, you can lock it up. So I'm going to roughly put in where I think it should be. So we're looking roughly there. So I'm going to back that out. So I'm hitting the tooth pretty. I'm in the front of the tooth a fair bit, but I'm going to lock it up there. That's the beauty of these diamond wheels. They don't get hot if you don't push them too hard. But you'll see, you cut a whole lot more for these than the oxidized wheels. I'll just try and get past. Because I do find, if you don't wear your earmuffs to these, oh God, it makes your ears ring. The first few times that my head hurt after that. Then I'm going to turn the other way. Clockwise. Do one cut and check it, measure it. So, raker. Okay, so finger on the raker and push it towards the backstop. Lock it up so it can't move. The same way every time. They're all the same. Use them as a team. Here we go. Yeah, that's right. Now, I took a bit more meat off the tooth more than I should down the bottom, but it doesn't really matter. I'll show you later why that is. Now, what length we got? That's the gauge. I'm looking at that arm width there. I don't care what it reads because I've locked it up so it can't move now. So, I'm spot on. Might back it off just a tiny bit. And I'm talking, say, less than a quarter of a turn. So undo the locker, back off just a tab. That's it. Now I can do the whole rest of the chain. I'll do one more sharpen. Hit the rake of your finger, lock her up. Oh, wrong tooth. That was close. Don't do this when you're drunk, guys. You see the tooth wobble up and down, push it, lock it. So it's so much better with that new backstop because it's holding the back of the tooth. You still can't rush it. Yeah, we're there now. So I'll measure that up. So it's just a bit longer. So I could have left it the way it was, but that's close enough for me. I'll do one more, I'll show you guys. So I'm going for, you want to cut, which can be quite aggressive at first, but you don't want to go too hard, you don't want to go make the tooth hot. I can touch the tooth after this, it will feel hot but not burn hot. But you want to get a bit of a polish at the end, so hold the rake back against the backstop. A little bit of time, just kiss it. That's just touching the driver. So get a buff now. Buffing the part that cuts. So that's sharp now. I can feel that. Even for semi chisel. But yeah. Anyway, so what we're touching on the tooth, which one I'm doing? That one. I'm actually touching the drive length there. So I'm not taking any meat out of anything dangerous. Like there's plenty of meat there. So just a kiss. That way you know if you've gone down far enough. The depth of control up here. Especially you guys can't see that. Depth of control up here. You can use that, but I find it's hard to feel what it's doing, or do you go far enough? So I use this as a visual reference. So you can see it's the angle nice, the new backstop, hold it still so the angle is perfect every time, ends up super sharp. Now I'll finish this chain off. I'll show you what I do for the depth breakers, and I'll finish the video for that. Right guys, I'll put you on hold again. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the depth breakers. Now, I watched a guy in New Zealand. Hats off to him, because he's one of the reasons I do what I do, because when you set, I worked in a factory for 24 years. Everything was mechanicalised, everything had to be the same. We packed cereal, cornflakes, Weet-Bix, stuff like that. Everything had to be the same, so it's in a box. So I was a machine operator or cookman or many other jobs that had to be the same every single time. So now I've worked out the length of my cutters. Each tooth's about roughly the same, 9.06. 9.06. So basically the same. So that part's done. So they'll work as a team. The guy in New Zealand, well, he's got another one of these machines specifically set up to do his depth breakers. So he's got this set up at 90 degrees. He uses a aluminium oxide cutter. Show the one here. These ones I don't use no more. So he puts it on 90 degrees, and he lines it up with the depth controller and kits everyone the same every time. So I'll bomb out on the depth stop, just like that every time. I haven't gone to that, but he's running really long chains, cutting pines, New Zealand hardwoods. But yeah, every time he does that way. But I don't normally do, this is a 42 inch, but I don't normally do long bars all that much. But this is my friend. If you watch the Shindao video, you see the rounds. That was me doing the rounds the day before, yesterday I think it was. But I'll show you what I do. So I'll set you up over here. Okay, so I'm using, this is a chain off a steel design. It's 0.63, 0.63, yeah, 0.063. So I'm using a steel depth controller. So I put, let's say it's the right hand one facing me. You guys see that? Yeah, might bring in a bit closer. Focus. So hopefully it will focus for me. Now the right hand one here. What I want to do is find out how deep that has to go. So it's just making a bit of noise. Check a couple more. Right hand only. Making a little bit of noise, not much. Now I'll check the left hand ones just to see if it makes a noise. Because I'm right hand, so it's easy for me. Make sure it's in the vise. The vise is not tight, but it's firm. So just kissing. So normally what I do with this long chain, I go along with the right hand one on the right hand side. I go against the depth breaker that way. Okay, every right hand one I do that. One little stroke. That's all I need, because it's going to be the right depth going by that gauge anyway. 0.65. But yeah, a whole of that, which is not much. Now this is a raker file. It's smooth on the edges, so you can't hit your fingernail and pull stuff off. So for the video, I'll come back to the rest of them. Now left hand side, because the reason that I'm going against the tooth. So I'll show you that again. I should explain that. As the tooth cuts, it hits the timber and forces the tooth to deviate that way. But if I file it this way and angle it going that way, it'll force the tooth straight. So it seems to get a cleaner cut, same as the other side. So you gotta imagine your back to front now. It'll deviate the tooth back that way. So if I file this way, it'll cause it to go back that way. Slight angle uphill. So about say that's 90 degrees. Down a few, say 5 degrees. So just a little bit. Put your finger somewhere so you can't. You don't want to hit the cutter, otherwise you'll blunt it. Just one little wrap like that. And this is very blunt, this one. So when you get sharp, brand new one, be careful. Just one little dab. And I'll go around to the whole chain like that. So uniform, everyone the same. And once you do with the machine over there, you set your chain up. The next time you know everything's the same angle and all that. Unless of course you hit a nail or something bad. It's going to be the same sharp. You just want to kiss. Just a tiny little kiss. That's it. So see I'm on a little bit of angle. Now we get a knot in the chain. Yeah guys, this is what I do when I sharpen my chains. Softwood I imagine be different angles, but we don't have them here in Australia, so not really easy. I got some bunya pine, which I'll be showing some cutting some bunya pine soon. But that we throw them away. Bunya pine, it's not worth burning. It's not worth. It's just a visual thing. Grows huge big seed pods. Seed pods is bigger than a coconut. Like, oh no, how would you say? 4 times as big as a coconut. And they drop those seed pods, and if your car's parked underneath the bunya pine and hits your car roof, your insurance is void. They won't pay for your car to be fixed. But the council grows the trees everywhere. Hey guys, as usual, thanks for watching. I'll see you next video. One thing I forgot to mention, your file's on an angle, the way your grains are in the file. You shouldn't touch your file if you avoid it, because your fingers rust them out. It'll file one way easy. This way, the right hand side doesn't really like filing. Left hand file, it takes heaps of meat off, so gotta be careful of that too. So one swipe might be heaps on one side and nothing on the other side. I find that some of these the chrome or whatever's on them is so hard. Well, that one there, you hear the noise didn't come off. But I'm only doing this as an example. Not a hard one. Yeah, go back into hards. That was soft. Semi-hard. Hard. Soft. Soft. Midway. Midway. Soft. Soft. So definitely, that was super soft, that one. Soft. Soft. So you get the point. I'm only doing this to show you what you do in the video, but what I do anyway. As soon as I get around, I know I'll be because I can see a shiny mark. So, okay, that's the last one here. That's shiny, shiny. That's just one wipe of the file. Shiny. I'll check, make sure I have done them all, so the thing behaves itself. And the other thing I do with these, and they've worked hard in semi-dry timber, so a little bit wet. I got a drum behind me with about that much of you guys can see my fingers. About that much of chain oil. So I put the chain in the oil, let it sit for a few minutes, pull it out, hang on a hook, and let all the oil run back down into the tub. And that way I know it's lubed and ready to go for next time. It stops it from rusting up. But just so you can go, when I cut some wood, I'm rock and roll and I'm ready. If I go do some wood, normally what I do is I get 4 or 5 chains, depending on what saw I'm using, as you see from the videos and stuff. Depending on what, if it's steel Husqvarna or steel size on a Husqvarna bar, just put it in a bag, the old chook feed bag, chook not chicken. I just take it with me. If the chain wears out, gets blunt, just change it over. I couldn't be bothered hand sharpening, or I can't really now because of my stroke. I find it's just easy to do exactly the same every time. No way, they're super sharp. So just, I don't know, it seems to work for me. I just hope this helps one of you guys out there that's struggling with hand sharpening. Just do what I do. Get rid of all your adjusting knobs, put nuts, spring washers, and so you can lock it up and get the same result every time. And you'll be amazed how much cleaner the cuts will be and how much sharper and longer it'll last and how much quicker. Alright guys, that's it now. I think I've finished rambling about crap. Alright, thanks for watching.